Welcome back from the AM News. Like I told you before we had a break, we are going to be looking at a very serious situation that we are faced with as Nigerians in this country, talking about the lingering fuel problem. How can we chart a way forward? Because we can't continue the way we are now. And you will see on to EBS Daybreak. EBS, nothing else is better. We have two gentlemen to do justice to the discussion for today on fuel situation. We have Mr. Peter Iyamu, a marketer. Mr. Peter, thank you for coming on the show.
Good morning, madam.
And we also have Mr. Emeka Ogbede, publisher, Midwest Temple. Thank you for coming, Mr. Ogbede.
Thank you too. Good morning.
Yeah, like I said before, it's a situation that is biting hard on every Nigerian, and we really want solution fast. So, sir, I'm talking about the situation this morning. Mr. Peter Iyamu, you're a marketer, so you should know better. Fuel scarcity has persisted in Nigeria, and the situation is no longer funny. People are groaning and paid. Why do we still have this kind of situation at this time in Nigeria? Why fuel scarcity, and why has it lingered for so long?
Well, almost every year we do experience fuel scarcity, right from time. But the problem is when demand is more than supply, there is bound to be what? Scarcity. For example, go to most of the depots, they don't have fuel. That is the problem. If all the depot we have fuel, definitely we won't be experiencing what we are experiencing today. The problem is from the head, from the source. Because people we're supposed to be asking, they are the NNPC. What actually is happening to what? The fuel. Because they are the people that import it, they are the people that is refining it. So they're supposed to be talking to the masses, telling them this is what is on board. But today we are not hearing anything from them. Unlike before, NNPC will tell you they have this amount of what? Fuel. Even before the advent of this private depot, NNPC were the sole distributor of fuel, even to the major marketers and to the independent marketers. They were involved. Your name will be on the program. At the end of the day, you know the day you are going to Warri Refinery to go and lift, or Port Harcourt Refinery to go and lift your product. You only raise draft and pay into their system, then you go and lift. But the system is no longer so. They have different what? Private depot now that people can go and buy fuel. But those depots don't have the fuel. Go there, this one will say they don't have their expecting vessel. The other one will say they don't have their expecting vessels. That is why you find that there is scarcity. The little people, those ones that have, to get it, it's a problem.
Mr. Emeka Ogbede, what's your take? How are we still faced with this terrible situation?
I think it's very proper to put this thing in the right perspective, because this issue has been with us for a very long time. And there must be areas where we have problems that appear to be intractable. We are unable to deal with the issues. So for me, I think we should start by laying the background properly. NNPC is saddled with taking charge of everything to do with petrol, which they call PMS. NNPC is in control of importation, distribution, and the pricing, as my colleague here has said. So the blame cannot be far from the incompetence that we experience with NNPC. Here is a country that is the second largest producer of crude in Africa. We were the first until Angola came along, and we are second now. Then we are in the top 10 in OPEC with no functional refinery. We have 4 refineries in this country with a capacity of 445,000 barrels per day. But what do we have? Not a single drop of refined petroleum product comes from any of them. And yet, the sad part is, and yet, they incur loss of 69 billion or above every year on producing nothing. So for me, I think that is where we should come from. This an organization that is creating enormous problems for this country, energy problems for this country. We virtually live on the wheels in this country. You need vehicle to move everything that we do, including services. You need vehicles to move these things, and you don't have the energy to power these vehicles, and there's somebody in charge. So that's where I think we should beam all our searchlight on NNPC. What are they doing?
Okay, it seems both of you are just hitting it at NNPC this morning. I want to give you this background concerning what you just talked about now. November 27, 2022, the Operations Controller, Independent Petroleum Association of Nigeria, IPMA, Mike Osatuyi, during an interview with journalists, said the lingering fuel crisis was due to the unavailability of the product. That is not the story. The issue here is that Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC Limited, has stopped importing enough fuel to meet the demand in the country. Where do we go from here, Mr. Peter?
Well, if NNPC stop importing fuel, for me, it's a welcome idea if they stop importing fuel. Because every time we help subsidy here and there, and government pay the huge amount of money for subsidy due to exchange rate. If the government, if the NNPC said they want to stop importing fuel, one thing they're supposed to do,
not that they've stopped. They don't have enough to meet the demand.
Good. Yeah, if
they've stopped importing enough to meet the demand.
Because of the high cost. Just to maybe because of the subsidy and everything, even government is owing them. People that do import the fuel. At times, major marketers, some of them like Total, I know they have what it takes to import fuel because it's from France. But these people they import for, the government should pay for subsidy because of the exchange rate. At the end of the day, if you look at it, the money government spent paying for subsidy is enough for us to use to build what a standard refinery. That is where the governments need to wake up. If you are spending money for subsidy, why can't you? For example, I said one thing. If the government mean well for the masses, what it needs to do is this. Tell the masses what it will cost you to build a new refinery. Let people know what it will cost. Like this Dangote refinery they are talking about. They are talking about 19 billion, if I'm not mistaken, $19 billion for the refinery. Nigeria is bigger than that. Nigeria has money. Even though the government don't have that finance or the means to finance it, government know what to do. By selling shares to the public and telling them we want to build a refinery, this refinery worth $10 million or $5 million. This is the barrels of crude oil this refinery can be producing a day. If it is 100 barrels a day, because from one barrel of crude oil we have up to 150 liters. From one barrel of crude oil. If the refinery is producing, that you are building, is producing 100,000 barrels a day, then you multiply it by 150 something. And because of the additive, what we are going to get is about 170. From that one crude oil, they have about 72 liters of PMS from one crude oil. They have about 30 something of diesel. The same thing from kerosene. Between all of them are there. What the government will do, if the money is not there, sell shares to the public, let the public be transparent enough, voice it out, we need so and so amount. People are there to invest in it. We have over 200 million population in Nigeria. Every state, no state is less than 1 million population. Once you come out, there are people that will be willing to invest their capital in it because it's profit-oriented business. So that at the end of the day, at the end of the year, you can declare dividend. They make profit from it. People gain employment from it. If every state should have their own refinery, That is what the government needs to do. It's not every time coming up with we want to rehabilitate this refinery. It was the one that built the one that we are using that they are complaining about. Every year they budget money to it. So what we are trying to say, let government put a round peg in a round hole. Let them wake up and do the needful.
Well, you see, let's come to the traffic where you know, and an intellectual too who has been into writing. You see, all of these explanations, the reason why it's like rhetorics to Nigeria. Rhetorics in the sense that there is nothing that we are saying now that have not been said over the past 20 years. You have written so many epics, and Nigerians have these things to say. Why is it that this country is not working when it comes to functional responsibility? Now, listen to this. Gowon built 3 refineries.
Yes.
Within our troubled system, between Nigerian Civil War and SM7.
Two.
Two or three. Two working refineries. And at that dispensation, we were able to manage resources and we were getting fuel. Now, 1977, President Head of State Muhammadu Buhari was in charge of the petrol, whatever. He still came up, that time the crisis started minimally, between 77 and 79 or 80 before Shagari's administration. Now, it's almost like a catastrophe. What we are saying is what we have said before. When Muhammadu Buhari came in as head of state under this political dispensation, APC, he took over 2 ministries. There are so many promises that he made. He sat as head of state and sat as petroleum minister. Now, this same man seemed to have failed. He said he has tried his best. He sat on those 2 portfolios. What makes you think? Because there's sabotage there. Listen to me, sir. There is nothing a head of state that has no willpower to do, especially in Africa where head of state has the capacity to abuse power. Why is it that there is a satanic bedevilment of not being able to solve one particular problem in the country? From education, 8 months our children sat down and all of you were publishing stories. The crisis has not ended. Buhari took 2 portfolios. For 8 years he has failed. That one you don't need to interpret it to any Nigerian. Today they are selling pump price. Somebody is saying subsidy. The fuel pump, they're coming to tell us about dollar. Dollar was not increased in 1977. Okay, why? Now, I agree with the analysis. They say the cost of delivering products by importation. Is it not shameful that we are buying fuel from Mali or we are buying fuel from Niger Republic? This man is giving SUVs to Niger and this thing is not working. What is your take? What are you publishing? Are you telling the people the truth about your publications, or you are just dodging away from the reality? Because we will not be part of, as you know, as media experts, as media practitioners, we will not be part of this propaganda of nonsense that is making us suffer. Our generation and children yet unborn is just in uncertainty, and now the campaigns are on again. What are they campaigning about when the thing is not working, sir? Can you just let us hear from your point of view?
Well,
and what your next story will be?
You've raised so many issues.
Then go ahead and just go ahead.
I'm going to take interest and make my comments on this issue of
petrol.
Yes.
You know, that's where everybody is affected. You know, whether you're in the village or you're in the city, it's the same impact. You know, I think, like I said earlier, we should try and look at the origin of this crisis, because just taking what is going on now is like, you know, palliative. Just look at the issue and leave it at that. This issue didn't start last year or this year. It's been on perpetually. Some of our children grew up knowing fuel scarcity, so it has become almost like a part of their own lives. For me, I think there's a structural defect in the way we have managed our resources in this country, and we need to pay attention and try to look for modern ways of dealing with these issues. I'll go back to the structure of distribution that we have. In this country, we have over 26,000 petrol stations. 26,000. Of this number, the major marketers have about 2,400. So it's purely IPMA that is actually saving this country from very serious shortage. These are people who invested their money for profit. They are driven by profit.
Yeah.
And we have to rely on them now to be able to survive in the present situation. NNPC tried to get into that sector too, and they built 37 stations across the country. And tend to think that by managing the price in those stations, they can check what is happening in other stations. But the real issue is their product. From what we see, there is no. That is why all these shortages and increases are coming up. In 2022 alone, they had 3 cases. One of them is the one we are suffering from now. In February, there was the issue of bad fuel. NNPC imported fuel and forgot about standards. We suffered for that all through that period and managed to get out of it. In June, another crisis occurred. What happened this time? The tanker drivers said they cannot move fuel to different parts of the country because the roads are bad. The roads are bad, security is not there, and they are being harassed here and there. So there was risk to their lives, and there was damage to the vehicles. So they had to stop. After much appeal and pressure, they came back to work. In October, the same year, we now had this one that has lingered to today. From October, when it started, the excuse NNPC gave was that there was flooding in different parts of of South. That's the reason they can't move well. So for me, these are channels to avoid responsibility
on the part of the citizen,
on the part of
government.
NNPC.
NNPC
I'm not
government.
going to call government. I'm going to call the agency in charge.
No, NNPC is basically an agency. It's a major organ of government.
Yes. Exactly, but they have a function tied to their activities,
No, but
to
what,
their operation.
No, but what we're saying is this. Let's get it clear. NNPC is an appendage of the federal government. They are appointed. All the principal officers are reporting to the federal government, the head of state or the minister of petroleum, as it were. Now, if they are failing, there's a clause. There was a time they talked about modular refinery. There was a time, people now came with vandalism and all of that, Asari petrol in the Niger Delta and all of that. We have passed through a lot of trauma. Now they are selling this country or selling the refinery to who is over Dangote. They have almost ruined this country by shifting. Now there's epilepsy everywhere. Imagine your analysis that they say in the north central northeast, are they getting fuel? They say there's erosion and tanker drivers are complaining they can't give product. Don't you think that we are not facing the real issue of privatization and those in power? Why would Buhari fail?
Let me just say this before you.
No, before the people.
Before you go to my colleague. You see, this for me, like I've been saying, NNPC has sole responsibility to deal with our energy issues.
Yes.
We can't jump them and begin to look at those who appointed them. They were appointed there to work. NNPC had 42 depots across the country. Which one is functional?
Functional depot. What year? What year did they have
Up
got?
till 2007, those depots, the one in Benin was working.
Yes.
Up to 2007.
Before it was shut down.
Why did they shut it down? If that depot is working, I bet you, my IPMA guys here, I bet you won't have this kind of situation in our hands. Do you know where they go to get fuel? This one that we are getting and shouting about. Where do these people go to get it from?
Maybe from the jail.
So that's the thing. NNPC is importing fuel. One of the things that I found out is that they don't have enough storage. They don't. So they use private storage owners. They call their storage tank farm, where you have so many huge storage facilities in one place. Now they use those people without meeting the terms of agreement. So that becomes an issue between NNPC and these private owners of storage
facilities. Yeah.
When that conflict comes, that disagreement comes, who suffers for it?
The masses.
It's the masses. Another thing I found out is that the people they use, they contract this importation to, NNPC is owing them. My last account is that they are owing them about $90 million. Nobody will, because of sentiments, throw his business into jeopardy just to satisfy someone else. So you need to clear those things before normalcy can return. NNPC is the culprit in this matter. There is no escaping that fact. I wish they are listening to us so that they can look at the issues we have raised and see if they are doing well.
Mr. Emeka, you see, before now, NNPC, they've come up with this, should I call it rhetorics now, that part of the problem they're facing is activities of pipeline vendors. Looking at this quagmire we're in now, can you trace this problem to pipeline vendors? Because it's you can't really explain if this is the cause, but because you, Mr. Peter and Mr. Emeka, you've traced some of these issues, but can we still trace this problem to pipeline vandalism in Nigeria? That we have shortage of petrol.
Well, for me, I do strongly believe that when NNPC is complaining about pipeline, before this Benin depot was functioning, NNPC will have about 21 storage tanks in different states, depot that was functioning then. They transport refined products to those depots through pipeline. When they discover that people begin to tamper with the pipeline, at times I was listening to ITV, either early this year or so, when they were interviewing someone, they said they were transporting load from one depot. I don't know any of the depot, maybe I don't know. They were transporting what product to the depot for 4 good hours. Depot left the product left the
depot.
Tank.
Yeah.
It didn't get to the destination.
For 4 hours.
The company had to cry that. They are the company, they don't think it's inside the tank, but it's not reaching the destination. They went to the masses, to go and cry to the masses. He said only for them to discover that something went wrong. People typed it, there was something went wrong. What are we trying to say? Yes, NNPC is aware that people do tamper with the pipeline.
Yes.
The Minister of Petroleum is the president. They have all it takes to devise another means of transporting what this refined product to the depot so that each state will be functioning. Each of the depot that is under their care will be functioning. That is the only way they can checkmate all these things that is happening. What would they need to do? You mean the president, sir, the pipeline is no longer safe in this country. Let's use this, let's divert another means. What is the means that we're going to use to transport this refined product? Then they will suggest to the president, we can use railway, cargo railway. Let them build what? Standard cargo railway that can transport refined product to every state depot. Let them build depots in every state. When they transport it there, the truck will go to the depot and collect their product. Then the NNPC can now monitor what? The sales. They will tell the company, tell the masses, this is the amount of what? Liters that we have supplied beneath depot. Then people that before they do announce it. They do announce, they will say so and so station is receiving 33,000 liters of PMS.
Yesterday, yeah.
This one is receiving 40,000 of PMS. They will publish it out. You go to that station, the station will sell because they get it right from the source. But now government is giving the product to what? The private depot. Meanwhile, there were seven major marketers there, like all this Hondo, Konoye, Total, Mobi, NNPC and all, that have storage tank. But government now, the NNPC now what? Increase it to 27. Adding other major marketers that have up to 50 filling stations that have also tank, like all this Nepal, Danaman, White Shafat and all of them. They add it to it. these people have depot that NNPC will supply these people the fuel, crude oil, refined products. From there, independent marketers go to this private depot to buy. But at times you get there, you find it difficult. They will tell you they don't have the product. At times you find that this depot, the amount they are going to sell to you will still be the same amount they are selling in their filling stations. Maybe, for example, you are as an independent marketers, one of their stations, maybe for example, Reno is opposite your station. The amount you will buy at times from their own depot, almost the same amount you want to sell that their station is selling, which is not a challenge to what independent marketers. You find that throughout December or from November to December, there are most of the independent marketers that followed. Some of them were unable to pay their staffs. Why? Because they don't have product to sell.
I was coming to that, Peter. Does it mean that due to the unavailability of this product, an NNPC can no longer dispense enough to meet the demand of Nigerians? Your body is now at will to give out this product unregulated prices. That just give you the way you buy, sell it like that. Nigeria is not at the mercy of that. What does it all go? How can this favor the economy? Where are we going from here if this happens?
NFCC have all it takes to regulate the price, to monitor the stations. But the only thing that NFCC will do that will give them that boldness to begin to monitor the station is when they supply you what? The product. They know the amount you bought the product from, they know they know how much they give you the product. Because if NFCC before, NFCC give to maybe like corn oil, they give corn oil at the rate of 148 naira 17 kobo. That is what they use to supply the person. The person is bound to sell at what? The government what? Price, regulatory price.
So what we're experiencing now is unregulated on price because the marketers are buying, are selling depending on how the amounts they buy.
The marketers, even though they are not crying out, the marketers are buying the products above what? The front price from those private depots.
So if they are to sell according to the price they buy, we will have higher price than what we are having now. Where do we go from here?
The government needs to wake up and do the needful. That is what they need to do.
What's the needful, sir?
What, like me, I will expect the government to go back and check where they get it wrong. Before, depots were working, NNPC was working. But today, we can no longer, people don't, to go to NNPC to go and get allocation is difficult. They're supposed to be having the chart. NNPC have the name of all the filling stations in Nigeria here. They have that name. They know the capacity of every station. They know what each station can what offer or can sell. At times there are some stations that say you people you don't sell much. You always 2 trucks in a month. You get 5 trucks in a month. Depends on the location of those stations. NNPC need to wake up to those things and go back to their drawing board. Then, for them not to crash that Warrior or Port Harcourt refinery, like our depot here, the tank is still there. They have enough tank there that can serve the state. Let the government wake up. Build what? Standard railway. Once NNPC refine any product, they should put it in a cargo train and transport it to the depot. Once you load the train, you transport it straight to the depot and offload. Then the depot can begin to function. If there's no need of using the pipeline, let them forget about anything about pipeline. And that's where the problem lies. Every time they complain about pipeline, let them forget about pipeline and use what? Cargo train. Nigeria has all it takes to build what standard railway, link all these states in Nigeria together, have depot in every state. Then NNPC wants wherever the refinery is. Every state can come up and build their own refinery. You can transport the crude oil to them through the cargo train. They will refine their own products. They buy it from you. They pay for it. It's profit-oriented business. Then NNPC can regulate what the price if they come up with that idea.
Mr. Peter, beautiful submission, but Mr. Emeka, can the federal government or the NNPC actually do this, given this insecurity we are facing in this country? Can they actually do this?
There's nothing they set their mind to do that they cannot do.
Absolutely correct.
You need the willpower. You need the conviction.
But how do you think insecurity should be tackled first?
The issue of pipeline, they get contracts out to monitor pipelines now. That's why for me, I think that pipeline should be used.
Okay.
It's cheaper, it's more effective. you monitor the pipeline and make sure they are paying huge money for that purpose right now.
Yes.
So why not use it? The issue is that we don't have functional refineries. So there is nothing in the pipeline for anybody.
Yes.
That is just the truth. What the refinery is there? You go, it's like an abandoned property. You know. What happens in that place? You have all the equipment, you have all the gadgets, you have everything in place. The source of crude oil is close to that place.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you not refining? It's taking almost 30 years to service a refinery that was built in less than 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
With resources that is more than what was spent to build it. So it's a crazy arrangement, and the incompetence of the managers of that sector is so glaring. I wonder how they sleep at night, knowing that the things put in their hands are, deteriorating and getting so bad day by day.
No, but do you agree that we don't? There's no light in the tunnel. We are not likely as a nation to get out of this shame for now, as it were.
It's so obvious.
It's that we are not likely.
It's so obvious.
Inside of all of this analysis, we are not likely. Let us just look at it. Election is coming. Why I think we are not likely to get out of it? Because what we are saying now, from 77 people have been saying it, it's like insanity. Now, why do you think that the head of state, His Excellency Muhammad Buhari, head of state twice or thrice, he hijacked the petroleum ministry, he was head of state for his first 4 tenures, and he made a lot of promises. What is the devil that is not alive? Because you're talking about these are appendages, people who are put there as surrogates. Their hands are tied, they can't make anything work. If His Excellency in his capacity of change and all of the fear and all of the confidence that people had that this man can make certain things work, now nothing is working, sir. Nothing is working. The petrol institution, it's easier to build a refinery. There is nothing the head of state does not have capacity to make work if he's interested. People believe that these political oligarchs and their family members, their children, their cousins, they are the people behind this crisis that is not making it work because of the profit they're making. That is an assertion that needs to be examined. Do you think that it is possible for another head of state to come to make 1 or 2 refineries? Because the cost of a refinery that one single individual, Dangote, is about to float, from the money he got from the Republic, Dangote does not cut money.
No.
And so it's the money he took from these political oligarchs that is using to establish a refinery, then selling out the country. They sold NNPC or what, they sold the NEPA. Now we have no light, completely no light. Now Dangote is coming in. What is the assurance for our children and our generation? Don't you think that we need to look straight into somebody that has capacity? Because all of this subsidy and no subsidy, there are a lot of people who didn't go to school to understand your subsidy. There's no education you give to people on television under 30 minutes or 1 hour. What people want is the things to work. The head of state came, he has spent 8 years, and he said he has tried his best in failure. His ambition was to become head of state before he disappears. He has been head of state, he saw the country, he came, he saw, he never conquered. He tried to Islamize and do many things that we are aware. We followed up a lot of intellectual capacity to turn our curriculum and all of that. Instead of facing the real issues of the people are suffering. Now, how many days to election? Let's look at this seriously, because this one is all what we are going to put aside to look ahead to a possible change by February 25th. Do you still believe that any head of state can make 1 or 2 refineries work? Instead of all this explanation of Asari Dokubo was given a contract to settle him so that he can win the Niger Delta. He's not settling anything. They are still busting refineries. Till today, they still have some modular refineries in the creeks. Obaseki came and said, as governor, he's trying to initiate a refinery. Let the states take responsibility of their refineries, and let's forget about this from the federal government saying, if there are states that can float their refineries, let them start floating modular refineries, because the products are here. This hijack, this stealing, these oligarchs that are draining our resources, it should stop. What's your take?
Well, you've once again brought in so much politics into
we have to say it.
Into this discussion.
We have to say it because this is it.
Buhari is our president.
Yes.
I'm not holding brief for him or his associates. He has so much on his table. So he had made appointments for people to have different responsibilities. Our Niger Delta son, Timipre Silva, is the Minister of State for Petroleum. He's actually the one running
The petroleum.
the show and reporting to
His
Buhari.
Excellency.
So what is he doing about this situation? That is the way I look at it. We can't take everything away from the point where they are and begin to look for who to pin all those things on. I think
Just let me come in a little bit. If you have a bad tooth, you pull it off. If
it's not as easy as that.
No, if Timmy Silva is responsible to His Excellency, he has been saddled with making it work and it's not working. Education failed for 8 years or 8 months. The Minister of Education was still telling us blah 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 on the television, on the press. Our children were at home, being frustrated and completely being extinct. They went into Yahoo and all of that. Now this is decadence. This government does not have capacity to resign when it's failing. Silva should resign if it's not working, because right now it's not working. No, you can't come here to tell us, the press, that the head of state should not be blamed because Silva is there.
No, I didn't say so.
No, it's
He
not
can
doing
be
well.
blamed, but
Yes.
the issue is that he has put somebody in charge.
And the
What
thing
is
is not
that
working.
person doing?
The person is not working because nothing is working. The education was sitting for 8 years or 8 months. The Minister of Education was still there, and they are still there holding brief for His Excellency. What kind of religion is that?
I think the issue still remains that
Yes.
there's so much to be done, especially in
this
the
country.
context that we are discussing.
Is there anything actually done? So much to be done. Name one thing that has been done.
There's
I'm
so
not
much to be
saying,
done.
I didn't say things have been done.
No,
I
one
said
thing.
to be done.
There's everything to be done.
One of the issues is we've been talking about deregulation. Most people believe that deregulation is to change price, alter this or that. No, deregulation means allow people to invest in that sector.
Yes.
Investment means if I have money to set up a refinery that will handle 500
Capacity.
barrels per day,
Yeah.
allow me to do it. Just put your rules together and allow small. Every time we try to compare Nigeria with the US, but we don't want to do what the US is doing.
No, US is for Ghana, Togo.
Texas has over 80 refineries. It's one state.
The
in
state
the
of
US.
Texas, yeah.
They have more than 80 refineries.
Private refinery.
Small refineries that ensure
The products.
It's an arm of investment for any businessman. You look at the sector and you believe that you can do one or two things there and make money. Let us do the same. These boys in the creeks are proving to us that it's possible to refine this thing at small scale. Why not meet with them, discuss with them, and see how you can make the operation safer for everybody? Because what they are doing there is very crude but very productive. They are making money.
To
They are
them.
achieving. Why not go there instead of trying to shut them down, cow them in? It won't work that way.
Yeah.
The sector needs massive private intervention. Until we do that, we are joking.
Mr. Peter, Mr. Mecca just gave us a kind of solution now. Why don't you bring in those people that are doing it the crude way in the creeks and see how you can build them up, give them a sense of belonging, and let them put the skills into use for the betterment of Nigeria. Sir, you made mention of something while you were explaining earlier, that if the marketers are to sell at the price they are getting it now, the price will be higher than this. And Nigerians are already groaning. And I always tell people there's a solution to every problem. If you have a problem in your home, you first of all, the first solution is to identify that there's a problem. Identify it, agree that I have a problem in my home. Then the next step is to how do I solve it? Then the third one is to put things in place to solve it. We have a problem in Nigeria. What actually is the issue with oil production? What are the challenges to oil production in Nigeria? How are we having this problem?
Well, for me, I would suggest that the government should look for capable individuals who is willing to invest in the oil sector, like all this Modura refinery we are talking about. Like this, the one that Obaseki embarked upon. I don't know how far the refinery is now, if it is functioning or not, I cannot really tell. But one thing I know, that government should encourage
Sorry, let me just chip in there. The last time we heard from them is that the refinery is ready, but they are not allowing them to take in crude into the place. This is one of the problems.
Bottlenecks
It's one of the problems that we're having. You set up policies to stifle people's businesses,
Imagine
and you want progress.
People to use by now this modular. They just won't be talking
No,
the way we're talking now. We'll be going through this problem.
they can, at least, if that modular refinery is working, the government have what it takes to transport fuel to this place.
I think
to
the
this mini depot.
capacity
You
is
can
there.
hire the depot and maybe use it.
Exactly.
Yes.
You can hire that depot.
Depot and the
And be pumping fuel there
Directly.
within the city. Nobody will tamper with
They
pipe.
can plant surveillance camera everywhere, security everywhere. Then
Nobody will even
transport
tamper
the
it.
fuel,
Exactly.
the crude oil, the refined product, straight to this
Our
mini
dump,
depot.
your dump.
To the dump here. Then people can go there to buy. But things are not done. And if government should wake up and encourage the citizens that are willing to invest and give them that access to what lift crude oil. The way they are selling crude oil to the outsider, they should also give individuals that have what it takes to build refineries, to build their own refinery here, and give them the license to also buy crude oil here and refine. By then they can regulate the what price. I don't know how much per barrel now. I cannot really tell now the cost of 1 barrel per crude oil. But we are aware that from 1 barrel of crude oil, you get a lot inside, up to 170 if being refined because of the additive. 170 liters from 1 barrel of crude oil. That means the price will be more cheaper. You understand me? If 1 barrel of crude oil, we say we have about 153 when it is crude. After refining, you get up to 170. From that 170, you have about 72 liters of PMS, you have about 20 of diesel, you have fuel. At the end of the day, when you check it, you find that the government will be the person will make more profit. And the price will be what? Lesser. So government should wake up and do
No, so but it's okay. Now, all of this still stampedes us to, suffering and suspicion. In the states, like we keep mentioning Texas and all that, the citizens believe in their leadership.
Yeah.
Like president, like governor, like leaders. What the president of the United States of America says today, the citizens believe. But here, there is a complete disconnect between what our people say and what our people do. Now, there is no doubt that this government or our system is diabolical. It has not encouraged raising people. It has not encouraged raising people in any capacity. We have seen young men who have fabricated vehicles, young men in technology. They have, all of these ICTs, they have come with innovations, and they are never supported. We have seen people who have written proposals to government to say, this is what I can do, this is what I cannot do. They prefer importing Chinese and foreigners to steal our resources. That's what we have experienced as a country. Now, there's no way that government will just agree to modular refineries, because they have their grandchildren and their wives and their cousins incorporated into looting and stealing our crude resources. That's a challenge. The point we are now is, let's look introspectively. Let's look at, because this problem, except Shoika said that except by uprooting, nobody can pluck the yam tubers from the base. This thing is deep-rooted into insanity and stealing. Now, if you think that government, Buhari came with all his capacity and energy, with all his experience, having led this country so many times. He's a leftist. People feared him. They felt that he was going to pull the magic. Suddenly, he shrank, and the country is collapsing. Where do we go from here? Elections are coming. Now, like I said, these stories, God forbid it continues, this country is going into a volatile state. People are suffering. Very shortly, February 25th, we have election campaigns are on. Don't you think that we should direct our energy into looking at the policies of these campaigners? Because most of these policies are diabolical. Nobody follows up what they are saying. Nobody follows up. You don't need an oracle to tell you that they don't follow up. Buhari is frustrated. He's just tired. Most of the things that he thought that he could do in his capacity, he saw that there are more demons in the system that he cannot put one day. So if you are saying that government should encourage individuals, in education they didn't encourage anybody. We have children who have manufactured vehicles in the southeast, and all, even in Edo State. Obaseki came, you know, if you look at what Obaseki is doing in his Edo best and all of that, initiatives to engage our youth. That is what is bringing relative peace and calm to some parts of the states. There are so many states that are very volatile because of frustration, not inclusiveness, deceit, and complete failure of the government. Now, let's go into 2023 elections. With all of this crisis, do you think that we are moving towards achieving anything by February 25th?
Yeah, for me, I do strongly believe that we will get it right this time.
By voting or by allusion?
Not by allusion, because of the way the youth wake up. You know, this era, this present system of government, many companies are pulled up. Epileptic power supply, and if you look at the system, you find that most of the viable companies that do employ our youth are no longer in the system because they cannot use diesel to power their generator. And every time the cost of what? Power.
PMS.
The tariff.
Yes.
The tariff for power do go up.
Goes up.
Are you getting me? This is government that privatized what? The power system, whereby we expect to be having what 24 hours power supply. Unlike before, when ECN were in charge of light, if I'm not mistaken. Before they would take power or they want to work in any place, they will tell you if the place is a business center. They know that people are there working by day. They will tell you so and so time we are going to do maintenance. They will do it in the night when they know it's business center, when people are no longer at work. But they will require you to shut down your appliances in order for your things to be safe. They will announce it in NTV. Then, if it is residential area, when people are already going to work, they will come back and do it. So that before you come back from work,
you beat your lie, yeah.
That's when they see it, before the partner take over from there. By then, Samuel said, never expect power what? Always. I do believe we will get it right. If we, the youth, the way the youth woke up in this present time to begin to involve themselves in politics. It has not been like that before. People are spending their money this time to ensure that things work. So, I want to see a Nigeria that we can be proud of. Looking at everyone that is campaigning today, the youth need to shine their eye. Look at the person eyeball to eyeball. If the person is telling you the truth or not. Look at the antecedent of this person. Look at what the person has done in the past, what he's saying, and look at what surrounds the person. If actually this person will stand by his words, that is what the masses need to look at this present time. But for me, I know we will get it right. The youth, the way they woke up, once the youth meet business, I know they meet business. From the north, the south, the west, and the east. So we pray. Now,
you see, we will get it right. It's a very simple axiom. It's a very simple statement to make. Everybody wants us to get it right. We want everybody here wants this country to move ahead.
Yeah.
Now, what are the enabling, encouragement or whatever? Now, because the youth are already being desesperated. If you check now the temple of the youth engagement in campaign, those kind of rigor, when it all started with this social media, is dropping. It's a strategy of this political class because the frustration is getting high. People can't buy fuel, people are demobilized. They can't move. They can't vote. You're talking about PVC now, they say it's at the world level and all of that. People are just getting completely disadjusted. So what do you advise that can be done? Do we put this government aside and still encourage our people to just go ahead and do the needful, to vote for what we think can help us and our generation?
Okay, like our president last time when he went to which of the states, I don't know when he went to go and campaign. What did the president say? He said, vote for what? Competent leader. That is what the president himself said.
Which president?
Buhari.
Okay.
Hold your thoughts, Mr. Ogbende. You see, today Nigerians are in pain. They are groaning. The quagmire is getting everybody dissatisfied. So much pain. Because when you buy fuel at 280, 300, it's not funny. How many liters are you going to buy per day that will help you, and even for your generator? Now, what are the short-term solutions that we can apply to solve this problem so it doesn't degenerate further? Before the marketers will tell you, I bought at 300, I'm selling at 500. I heard sometime last week that there are some places you go to in Nigeria today, okay, it has to do with black markets. They are selling at 500. So what are the short-term plans we can apply? Okay. Solution to give us a relief from this problem.
We've spoken earlier about two of such plans. The first one is to revive our refineries. This operation is subject to economy of scale, supply and demand. That's the bottom line of this sector. If we continue like this fuel thing, you are talking of 500, 400, we might rise to about 700 per liter. It might even get to a point where you will no longer be interested in buying fuel because it's either not available or the price is
too high.
Crazy.
We'll go back to China.
So
bicycles.
You just decide. Some of my friends are already buying bicycles.
Yes.
Wow.
Like
yes, They are buying bicycles. Those of them that live within the metropolis, yes, they believe that it's a good exercise and it saves you money. So buy bicycle and move around town, So the first thing we need to do is to revive our refineries. Second one is what we spoke of earlier. Allow people to invest in that sector. The hindrances are too many. Why set up rules to block, tell people from getting into that sector? Why? So the more people we have processing and refining products, the less the price will be, because there will be a competition between them to get customers to lift their products. The consequence of that is that the price will fall. So we need to take those two measures. Another thing I think they should do is to ensure that the corruption we see in that sector is taken care of. There's so much hanky-panky in that sector that sometimes I pity my colleagues and this my friend here and his colleagues. They are subjected to things they cannot control. The authorities need to step in and check. You import fuel, you give to private tank farm owners.
148.
They decide when to sell. NNPC does not go there to ask them what they are doing. Meanwhile, you are the one that imported the fuel and gave it to them.
To them, yeah.
Yes.
So those ones, you get there, they'll tell you, sorry, we don't have fuel.
Yeah.
You leave. They bring their own tankers.
And
fill, then go out. In Benin today, I don't think fuel is cheaper than 280, except in the mega station.
Yes.
You see, much as it pains us, if you listen to the operators of that sector, you pity them. You pity them. I personally got to know about what they do because my father was also in your group, and I saw him groan and lament several times over what is happening, and that time was the golden era. So I wonder what you are going through today.
Okay, Mr. Peter. Mr. Maker mentioned corruption.
Yeah.
Subsidy removal, will it help issues?
Definitely, it will help. Once the government removes the subsidy, definitely the idea of then the NNPC will buckle up.
All right.
They will buckle up. I don't think, for me, the 3 or 4 refinery we have in this country, the 4 of them is down. That is what they say.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they vote money for it for
Every budget.
every budget every year.
Yes.
Definitely, if they vote money for it, that means part of the refinery should be working.
Okay.
Are you getting me? For me, I believe that NNPC should be able to refine at least little quantity, if not up to the maximum. But they should be transparent enough to tell the masses, this is what we can refine for now. This is how many barrels of crude oil we are refining. This is the numbers of liters we refine today. They should be able to publicize it, put it on the newspaper, let people know this barrel refined today is going to so and so depot. The other one go to so and so depot. All those private tanks that they are having, that people can go there and buy. And they should tell the masses, this is the amount people should pay to get this product from the independent marketers. This is what you are expected to what? Pay. We give this fuel to these people at the rate of 148 naira, it's 17 kobo. Marketers, independent marketers, please go to all these private depot. We have already supplied them. Pay so and so amount and get this fuel from them. If they inflate the price more than that, let us be aware so that they should be sanctioned. By then, if governments come up with that kind of transparency, I tell you the truth, those depot will comply. They will comply with, because it's they that supply the depot the fuel. They give them this amount, even though they are using diesel to power their gen or whatever it may be, because cost of diesel is on the higher side. The 2 parties should be able to come together in agreement. Okay, this is the amount of money used for your diesel. Let's stabilize this price, so and so. They give to these people at this amount. Don't allow it to exceed this price. Okay. By so doing, things will work well.
In a few seconds, Mr. Peter, due to time, we are controlled by time here. Yeah. Due to time, Mr. Peter, please give us your last word on this discussion.
I want the government to have the heart of the people in their heart of hearts. To be transparent enough to tell the masses what is actually going on in the oil sector. And government will ensure they pay the price to make sure that things work.
Mr. Emeka, your turn.
Well, we've enumerated most of the ills in the sector, and my sincere appeal is to NNPC. They should buckle up and live up to the expectations of Nigerians in this very, very sensitive sector, where the Lord and the Alpha and the Omega of everything.
Yeah, viewers.
No, but just let me just put in one little change before we round up. Those days in Edo State, we used to have this task force trying to help our people, one headed by Lodi Ahmed. But don't you think that because of this disparity in prices, all the filling stations, there's no gas station that sells less than 280, but there are some others that there's no stability in what they sell. Don't you think that the Edo State government can just come into Edo State and set up a task force again that will help monitor, because there are people buying in jerry cans and all of that and making the product not even available. Many gas stations don't have. It's about profit making.
It will be feasible.
That task force, let me come in, that task force was functioning because they have the list of people they supply.
Okay.
So they visit those stations, they'll tell you this is the amount you received today. So they visit all those stations to monitor it. If actually the station received those products or they are selling it at the regular the price, but today it's not so.
Okay.
So they will find it very difficult
to operate.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, viewers, we have been talking to Mr. Peter Iyamui Marketer and Mr. Ogbedi Emeka. I want to thank you both for coming on the show this morning, and we hope that sooner when we call you again, you oblige us. Hope we've been able to educate you and to inform you, and you now see the problem in a broader measure and the possible solution. I just hope that everybody involved, the authorities, will sit up and do the right thing so that this burden could be rolled off the shoulders of Nigerians. Thank you for staying with us. From me, have a beautiful Monday.